You're watching a film of the CNO 614 on a trip from Washington, Indiana to North Vernon and return on May the 2nd, 1981. We're running through the countryside headed to North Vernon. Had a good day for the photo run-bys and nice weather. Now we're at North Vernon, and notice the people here at the station. All along the route they turned out in droves to see us. Notice the B&O signals that's beside the track there, and the crane to refuel the tender. You got the old and the new in this photo. This engine is a very photographic engine to take, and as you can see from the shots you're looking at. There's the drivers on 614, and you're going to see something that you normally don't see, and the railroad didn't want it to happen, but the engine took and split a switch and got on the ground. So you're going to get to see up close what it's like to have a derailment with a steam locomotive. A very photographic engine. There's the builder's plate. This took several hours to re-rail the engine that day, and they tried every which way to get it to come on back on its own, but it just couldn't do it. So they brought the diesel up to help re-rail, and then they returned back to Washington later that day. But you're going to get to see some real close-ups here of something that you normally don't see of a steam locomotive on the ground. A good shot of the drivers on the ground. Here's the crew trying to get the engine back on the rails. Take note, this is what you have to do to get an engine or cars back on the rails when they derail. We're putting the wood cribbing underneath and pulling the engine forward to get back on the rails here in a little while. Notice the crowd up on the hillside there that came out to see this. The crew got to work out this day of getting her back on the rails. Finally got the job done and we're back on the high rail. Headed home. Making up for lost time, headed back to Washington, Indiana. On May the 3rd, 1981, we're leaving Washington, Indiana on a one-way trip to Cincinnati, Ohio with 614. The steam locomotive is pulling in to pick up the passengers at the station in Washington, Indiana at this time. Headed east toward Cincinnati, Ohio. Note the trackside signals here as we pass, going from green to red. The passengers were treated to a photo run by today. (614) backing up to make its run past the passengers, backing into the tunnel. Notice the photo run by a crowd that's on the left-hand side. And a second run by was staged for the passengers on this run to Cincinnati that day. Mitchell, Indiana. Watch, as you see here, all the passengers in the train picked up people on the way, and everybody turned out all along the route. White River at Riverdale, Indiana. We just crossed that on the bridge. Seymour, Indiana, which some of y'all might remember, where the first train robbery took place with the Reno brothers in the years past. Again, note the crowds that have turned out for this trip to see the steam locomotive in 614, a sight you normally don't see. North Vernon. And again, here we have the Pacers following the train to Cincinnati along Highway 50. Crossing a ravine on a high trestle. More Pacers along the rail line. This was a common sight all the way from Washington, Indiana to Cincinnati that day. Another good shot of the B&O trackside signals. And another crowd along the right of way at the railway station. Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Crossed the Ohio River, headed into the Cincinnati Union Station at this time. Notice the barge and the barge pusher on the Ohio River here outside Cincinnati. An old coaling tipple You're on the approach to Cincinnati Union Station. There's Cincinnati in the background and the Ohio River. Amtrak that came into Cincinnati. This is one of their passenger trains. We went through the Queens Gate, the main yards. Now we're backing in toward the terminal. Union Station, Cincinnati, Ohio. Notice the length of the long train that we've taken all the passengers out on today. Here we're at LaGrange, Kentucky on May the 10th, 1981 with 614 on a trip from Cincinnati to Louisville, Kentucky on the L&N rail line. This is going through the street running in LaGrange, Kentucky with 614. Note the long passenger cars behind this locomotive as we run down the street of LaGrange. Coming off of the street running heading to Louisville, Kentucky. Here we are at the Kentucky Railway Museum off of Darcy Lane in Louisville, Kentucky with 614 on this day. The engine will be serviced here and returned back to Cincinnati.